All right. Welcome to the Effortless Launch Formula Mindset bonus session with Littie Shively. I'm Gina Decker, and I am done with my teaching for the main part of the course. And this is really just a treat for you guys. I know some of you may still be in the middle of building your launch funnel. And so anything that's holding you back, I really wanted to kind of just give you something that would help you with the next step. And I often find, at least for myself, that sometimes I'm my worst enemy, and so there's usually something going on in my head that is that's stopping me from achieving what I want, and I don't like that. So we're going to clear that today. So Littie actually is my coach. She's been working with me for I guess since April, end of April, and has really brought a lot of ease, just to my own work and life, and just way that I've been thinking about things. I am a perfectionist. I wondered if you could tell about that, but it all often stops me from doing things I want. So, Littie.
Okay, so first, for those of you who don't know, my website is mindsetmadeeasy.com, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about mindset, and then I'm going to see if anybody has any things that they'd like to work on. So mindset is basically, when you're born until the age of 7, your brain is in theta, which means it's mostly an open dump, and any information that comes your way is stored away as knowledge, truth, at whatever age and perspective you had when you gained it. And T. Harv Eker says, he calls it your file cabinet. He says by the age of 10, your file cabinet is 80% full. So most people go through life not realizing that their knowledge and their mindset was complete by the time they were 10. So my first question for those of you listening is, what did you hear most when you were a child? I remember hearing, don't talk to strangers. That was the big one. Look both ways before you cross the street, which came after, stay out of the street, don't go near the street. So Gina, what did you hear when you were a child?
Well, 10, I guess I was in fourth grade, and I had a really demanding Japanese teacher, and she, wanted everything just so, and so you could never please her. But my dad would always say, study, 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 and his thing that he would always say was, study hard, get an A, become an astronaut. Which at the time NASA and, the space race was going on. And, I think that was his just way of saying, shoot for the stars. But, just my regular status quo was never enough. So I needed to study more.
Okay. And Patty, what did you hear when you were a child? Anytime.
I don't have a very strong memory of it, but I did hear that you work hard and tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, if you work hard enough, you can pretty much do what you want at whatever you need to do.
Okay. So I'd like to address the tell the truth thing for just a moment. Did you ever notice that your perspective on the truth and somebody else's perspective on the truth were not necessarily the same?
Definitely as I got older, I did. I don't know so much as a very young child, but probably so, because as you get older, you're more aware that you see the difference.
Right. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm creating a series of universal laws, and that's one of the laws that I will be addressing. It's just very, very interesting to me that as we evolve with our science and our medicine, that we're learning more and more things that take us way back to the beginning times. It's just really interesting to me. So Duncan, do you have something that you remember that you heard a lot as a child?
Um, let me think about that. Yeah, just to sort of be responsible. Um, yeah, my mother was a school teacher, so she, whether it didn't matter where I went to school, she knew more about what was happening in my classroom than I did, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
She knew from all the teachers, so there was always quite an emphasis on doing a good job at school and that sort of thing, and being responsible, that sort of thing. Yeah.
I was the oldest of 5 children, and I remember being told over and over that I had to set an example for the others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just
So
I just have one brother, and he was 10 years younger, so I didn't have that.
it was too late for you to set an example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So does anybody have anything front and center in their mind that they would like to, that they feel is a block that they might like to work on, or do you want me to continue talking?
I have a block. I always jumped for those things, but yeah, the one thing that's coming up this week, and it comes up often, is that I was never comfortable buying things on credit. I didn't like live within your means, and so my dad always said, pay off your full credit card balance at the end of the month, and if you can't, don't charge it, and you can't eat it, you don't need it. And and so anytime I purchase something, especially now that I have a business, there's always this anxiety, like, will I have enough by the end of the month to pay this, or should I wait until I have more orders coming in? So the lack of consistency in the income really kind of just drives me nuts. And I didn't realize it, but I just hit the 1 year anniversary of Tech Done for You.
Oh.
So that was in July, so I didn't quite realize that it's been 2 years. But 2 years, yeah, 2 years. 2015 is when I started doing it full time. So that's the one thing that always comes up for me. I don't know if that's something that Patty or Duncan, if you experience as well.
So let's talk about for just a moment the anxiety around not having enough to pay everything in full at the end of each month. Do you want to explore that and remove that, or do you want to talk about maybe realizing that even if you don't pay everything in full at the end of the month, that the next month is going to be different?
I think they're related.
Well, yes, they're related, but the focus is different.
Yeah, I think the first one is more urgent.
Okay, so let me see. Do you want to do the this is where I feel it, this is what I want to do with it, or do you want to and what would you like to put in its place?
I think just ease, because right now it's just fear, it's like, oh, I'm going to be in debt, and I'm going to, this business is going to be, the end of me, kind of thing. So it's like, I don't know.
So,
I feel that.
So I'm going to go off track for just a moment. You said the F word, that would be fear. And I've heard from a couple of sources that fear is just excitement without breath. So whenever you start feeling fearful, just stop, take a breath, center, and relax. Because a lot of times so what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks is I'm so excited. And then somebody said something to me yesterday, and it just clicked for me, and it's like, oh, I have transmuted it. I have made all my fear. It's like I don't feel fear. I just feel excitement. So once you have an understanding of what one thing can be, instead of, like what's the opposite for you, then it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so let's go back to the anxiety. Let's take a deep breath in, pure healing breath in, toxins and negativity out. And you may both also join in and choose something for yourself that you'd like to work on, and we just won't use your words, okay? So again, pure healing breath in, toxins, negativity, waste out. And on your third breath, just relax into your body, let your eyes drift close, and we'll talk about your anxiety, okay, Gina?
Okay.
And in, and pure, toxins and negativity out, and just relax into your body. So Gina, this anxiety, where do you feel it?
Kind of like my rib cage area.
Okay, and just notice with your mind's eye in your rib cage area, that anxiety, it has a color. What color is it? First instinct.
Red.
Okay, in that red, does it have a mass or density to it?
It's solid.
Okay, and so what would you like to do with that red solidness? Do you want to remove it?
Yes.
And then replace it? Okay, so just reach in with both hands, grab it all out, put it in front of you where you can pick it up again easily. Let me know when you're finished. I really love your smile as you're pulling that all out.
Okay.
Okay, so you have all of that red mass. And just compact it up as much as you can, smush it down, make it into a really solid, smaller ball that's easy to maneuver.
Okay.
And now, when you're finished, oh, are you sure you got it all? Did you take one last check around inside?
Okay.
I know you.
I know.
It likes to hide. Okay, got it all?
Uh-huh.
And smushed it up tight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as far behind you as you can possibly throw it so you'll never see it again. Okay, and now inside you're going to put in first, of course, always a little bit of self-love and peace and joy. And what else would you like to put in instead of the anxiety?
Excitement.
Excitement.
Yes.
And a knowledge that there will always be enough. There will always be more than enough. Okay, let me know when it's all settled in and filled up all the empty spaces, every little nook and cranny. Okay, and another deep breath in. And just let that settle in as you breathe out, and open your eyes when you're ready. So, tell me how you feel.
It's a little bit calmer. You know, I can still feel kind of a fuzziness in my head, so it feels different, but you know, it doesn't feel.
So, it generally takes a couple of minutes for your body to absorb the changes and for the new stuff to settle in. That fuzziness around your head, does it feel like it's connected to the settling in or connected to something else?
Probably maybe just settling in. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Patty, I noticed that you have your eyes open. Duncan still looks like he's closed. So, do you have any comments?
No, excellent process.
And how did you choose something to work on for yourself?
I did. I was just choosing fear and anxiety around stepping into my business.
Okay. And how do you feel about that now?
Much more relaxed and at
Okay.
peace.
So before we worked with Gina, on a level of a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say that your fear and anxiety was?
It's subtle.
Okay.
So 4, it's a subtle, not explosive or anything. So, maybe 3, 4.
Okay. And after working with Gina?
Um, 2 maybe.
Okay. And would you like to
It's
do,
just kind of, there's an underlying sense of, I don't know, relaxation, peace, being
okay.
okay.
So what would you say is your major fear about moving into your business?
It's very hidden, and it's funny because I've dug around on it a while. And I mean, on the surface, you could say, oh, fear of failure. I think that's a very universal fear
A lot
that
of
most of
people
us
have
have.
fear of success.
I don't believe that is the issue. It's success isn't something I've had some pretty good successes in my career in
Okay.
sales. And so success isn't, I think it's not being good enough,
Okay.
doubting myself. So I go back and forth. I have a lot of expertise, a lot of training, a lot of experience, and yet haven't stepped fully into the power of what I'm capable of offering, to help others.
So
And I think it's that maybe I need to go take another class or
that's fear.
practice some more.
That's
So
fear.
I think
Yep.
it's fear of not being good enough.
So if you were to choose any 10 people at random and put their knowledge of your subject on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put their knowledge?
Um, to say that again, people that have my knowledge or just
No,
just
if you were
random
to
people
choose,
like
yeah,
prospects or something.
yeah,
Um, Interesting. Probably my ideal prospect would be a 3 or 4. They have just some very general
okay.
knowledge.
And where would you put your level of knowledge?
8 or 9.
So do you think since you're 5 or 6 steps ahead of those people that you could help them?
Definitely.
Do you
That's a great question.
do you remember being in, oh, let's see, third grade? And do you remember knowing somebody who was in fifth grade?
Oh yeah, they were like the big guys.
Right.
They
Or
seem so much smarter and older and
right.
knowledgeable,
The one
much
that
wiser.
when I started to ask you that, the one that came to me is I remember being my high school only had 3 years. So I remember being a sophomore in high school and looking at some of the seniors and just thinking, how amazing and incredible it was
Mhm.
that they got there.
Mhm. That's true.
So so I would like to do with you what we just did with Gina. And I want you to put that feeling that you're the senior or you're the fifth grader in that place of anxiety. Do you think that would work for you?
Yes,
Okay.
I think that it
So
would.
let's do the deep. Oh, and Duncan, are you back with us? Okay. And do you feel comfortable with where you are right now and ready to move on to another process, or do we need to touch base with you first?
No, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then, Patty, let's do the 3 breaths in. And as you each breath in, just settle into your body a little bit more, okay? Because we're going to tap into
Mhm.
your superconscious to let it go where it needs to go. So pure healing breath in, toxins, waste, negativity out. Just a little bit of settling. And again, pure healing breath in, toxins, waste, and negativity out. And on this third one, just remember, settle in completely. Pure healing breath in, toxins and waste out. And so, Patty, where in your is this feeling of fear and anxiety about stepping into your business? Just point to it.
My solar plexus.
Okay. And just notice that it has a color. What color is that? First instinct.
It's blackish gray.
Okay, and that blackish gray has
Dark.
a density, dark, okay. And it has a density or a solidity. Is it heavy, solid? What shape is it?
It's like a cloud, and it's changing in its size, like a cloud, that's kind of in a gentle breeze, and it gets bigger and moves around and expands and contracts.
Okay, so as you're doing that movement with your hands, in your mind's eye, can you just pick all that stuff up and put it in your hand? Just put it out in your hands.
Okay.
Okay, and now that you have that mass in your hands, notice that it's moving in some direction. What direction is it moving?
It's swirling a little bit, but it also changes direction. It's mostly clockwise.
Okay.
But it's also expanding and contracting.
Okay, so then let's do like we did with Gina. Just grab a hold of all of it and just smush it together as tight and as dense as you can. Just use your hands. I want you to use your physical hands and smush it together as tight as you can until it's as compact of a ball as you can get it. And when you have it as tight and as compressed as you can get it, just let me know. And before you take an interior check, did you manage to get all of that dark black grayish swirling mass outside of you and into your hands?
There's remnants in there.
So reach in and grab up the remnants and get those too, because we don't want it to grow again.
Okay.
Okay, you have it all? It's all smushed up as tight as you can? I want you to throw it as far behind you as you possibly can. Physically, just heft it over your shoulder as far as it'll go. Okay, now I want you to take a brief check inside and tell me how you feel.
Good.
Okay, now reach back behind you and see if you can grab that mass back again.
It's way behind.
Can't get it? Okay, that's great. So now let's install inside the that feeling of wisdom and knowledge and capability, and that whole feeling that you think that the seniors had when you were a freshman or a sophomore, that godlike ability. And while you're there, also put in a little bit of self-love and a lot of joy. And as it circulates through your body, you might feel hot flash or chills or a need to yawn or sneeze. All those things are perfectly normal as your body is allowing a new thing to settle in and become a part of you.
Okay.
And you're finished?
I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay, and so on a scale of 1 to 10 now, what would you say about that fear and anxiety that you had about stepping into your business?
It's greatly decreased.
It's greatly depressed now?
Yeah, we depressed it. Yes, much better. And I'd say it in a large sense of being able to step into my power maybe I don't know if it's courage, power, strength, confidence, just, but in from also a sense of peace and calmness.
Cool. One of the things that might help you in the future, if you start feeling any tiny amount of that anxiety, which you shouldn't, but if you do, think about that feeling that you recognize that the seniors have or that the fifth graders have, but also stand in your power. Just stand up, shoulders back, head up, and stand in your power and recognize your wisdom and your ability and let that feeling flow through your body. And if you do that for 2 minutes, you'll be pretty much right there, but even
right
30
there.
even 30 seconds will help a lot. And just let that
Okay.
power, your knowledge of your ability flow through you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Duncan,
Mm.
do you want to turn?
Do I want to turn? Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Sure.
And what do you feel is holding you back from building your business to the point that you want it to be?
I guess, you know, maybe a larger question, when you were discussing with Gina and Patty, I've I guess the concern of and when Patty was talking about having a lot more tools, skills, resources, and so on that she has that aren't being manifest in in her work and that sort of thing. More to offer than what's being offered. So for me, probably the largest thing is I'd mentioned earlier about the work in the Philippines and so on, but I've right now I see in terms of our entire economic system is creating huge issues on the planet in terms of environment, in terms of health issues, and so on. So it's looking at ways and means of changing the way our economy functions, the way people make investments, that sort of a thing. I have a lot of background in that area as well. I wrote the first book in Canada on financial planning 30 years ago. I had a company called Sun Financial, so I've been in that realm. The other piece of it is looking at a whole paradigm shift in healthcare, and understanding of who and what we are, and the ability to work on the subtle energy level, which you are doing right now in your process, by the way. And
Yes.
the process you're using, by the way, is one that we have used extensively over the years, and we know how effective it is. But the concern is not being able to accomplish everything that needs to be accomplished, and that I have a lot of resources, knowledge, and so on to bring to bear on these issues. But so it's sort of like
Okay.
yeah.
So have you determined for yourself what your main purpose is?
I would say the main is, I had visions many years ago where I could see there was a whole host, we'll call it, of divine entities above the earth and humanity on the earth, connecting the two,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
so that the divine knowledge, direction, inspiration is available, and people are utilizing that to guide their lives and utilize that energy for manifestation and so on and so forth, for all kinds of things. So it's enabling that connection where today there seems to be so much of a blanket, that's inhibiting that. So number one, awareness,
Mm-hmm.
and number two, connection. And we're doing that all the time with their healing work and the sonic and that sort of thing. But it's very local. It's not on a planetary scale, and
So,
so it's moving that to a planetary level.
okay. So I've been listening to and paying attention to Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and all of those things. And they kind of seem to come together with the thought process that as you expand your mind and reach out, because we are all connected, as you create better for you, you're creating better for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mission, which I finally figured out a few months ago, is to bring joy to the world, one person at a time, until I can do 10 or 20 at a time, and to, create other, I don't want to call them missionaries, but I haven't figured out the right word, but other people to spread joy as well. So if you can sort of solidify your mission into one small piece of this is my mission, I think then you'll find that it'll be easier for you to do the things that you need to do, because you'll understand that connectivity is happening anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still looking for something right now that would be
So if we want something right here and right now,
Mm-hmm.
we've got over 60 sonic harmonic overtone programs for stress and anxiety, for insomnia, for migraine headaches, for you name it.
Mm-hmm.
These are ready now.
Okay.
MP3s, people can utilize them now, on their cell phone, on their computer, anywhere, anytime. Those are available right now. So that is one priority in terms
Okay.
of getting that together and getting it out there. And that would be either just that product by itself, or it could also include a 6 to 8 week course that would
Okay.
help people
So,
maximize benefit from that.
okay. So what is slowing you down or stopping you from getting all those harmonics out into the world, for making the world aware?
Yeah, I guess, right now, and that's, I'm engaged in that every day right now. So like we have sonichealthify.com, and we're building that out, and so on. So it's a matter of logistics,
Okay.
partly, and
So,
then just getting that marketing. So whether it's using joint ventures or Facebook ads, so it's getting the word out there is the main thing right now. So we pretty well, the platform is within, well, I can send you as many programs I want today, but in terms of
okay.
having a program,
All
that's
right.
within 30 days.
So I'm going to totally switch this up for a minute. How do you feel about earning $10,000 a month? right now? What does it do to you?
Yeah, it's good. It's positive. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you feel about earning $100,000 a month?
Even better.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like
No twinges of holdback?
not on that. No.
Okay. So so on a scale of 1 to 10, where were you 1 year ago as far as building your business and getting it out into the world?
Um, it was I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10 a year ago, I would say uh, probably a 3 or 4.
Okay. And where do you feel that you are now?
Probably a 7, something like that. Seven,
Okay.
8.
And so do you feel that you've made good progress and everything is moving along the way it needs to?
Yeah, I'd like it to be much faster.
Okay.
It's I feel I've been looking at. I was looking at some of Ryan Ellison's videos. I don't know if you watched any of
Mm-hmm.
those or not, but the idea, use the analogy of somebody digging 100 wells a foot deep, as opposed to going deep,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt somewhat overwhelmed by trying to cover all of the bases.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another thing that he had done where, you have 36 different paths you can take to develop your market and so on and so forth, and you don't have to do that. You just, if
Just
you're
choose
good at,
one or two and
yeah.
focus. Mm-hmm.
So I've been going through that process, and I have some technical skills and abilities, but that's not my strength, and that's not, so I've been, in hindsight, wasting a lot of time, doing
Yes.
doing a lot of things that
Gina
has
was a
had marginal.
godsend for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I met Gina at Alina Vincent's course about getting your course out into the world. And there was a page that we had to fill out. And when I realized that the tech was the only thing that was holding me back, I made a deal with Gina.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and from there, everything's just, I mean, it's flowed and flowed and flowed. And I am so close to being right over the top and sailing. And
mm-hmm.
I want that for you too. So if it's only something technical, I'm not sure that there's mindset that we can do to help that.
Yeah. And Gina, frankly, has helped me and put me in touch. So I, as of the last week or so, have accessed more resources there. And frankly, Gina's program was very helpful in that, her simple, 4-page approach,
Yes.
was very significant, because it's, my inbox, probably has 50 great promotions every day, with how you need to do everything, and this whole information filtering is
Uh-huh.
is
So
is a huge piece.
I finally figured out how I can help you. Go to your inbox
Mm-hmm.
and choose 10 to unsubscribe from. And then when you figure out, oh, wow, I can survive without these, go choose 10 more. So I went from getting about 100 emails a day down to getting like maybe 30 that are promotional type emails a day. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm still weeding them out.
Yeah,
Because, and one of the things is once you get in a loop with some people, you'll get the same email from 7 different people.
yeah, yeah,
And so once you realize that that's what it is, just click, 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 click,
yeah,
and be done with it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
No, that's, yeah, yeah. There is a piece of software too called Sane Later, SANE Later, which I
okay.
subscribe to, and so you can take the mail that comes from your inbox and put it in the sane later. So and then there's another one, which is a deep hole that never comes back, you know. So that's part of that process. But I fully agree. I need to do more of that. That's for sure.
So I still haven't come up with anything clear that you might want to, that you might consider a block. So you gave really good answers when I asked the money questions. You didn't look stressed about that. So you're okay with receiving money. A lot of people are not. A lot of people feel like they don't deserve it. Or, oh, I have a question for you. So do you believe that there's only so much wealth in the world, and that if you get more of it, somebody else is going to get less?
No.
Okay, I didn't think you did, but I just thought I might toss that out there. That might be a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay then.
I might suggest one, if I could interject.
Sure.
You know, I think part of it is focus, you know, and it's related to unsubscribing to things that don't, you know, but as I've done a lot of launches and helped with the technology, I notice that sometimes there's this, you know, there's like the intention of the funnel that you want to build, you know, and then there's this thing like, you know, oh, this latest launch said, you know, this, we should add this to the funnel, or we should add that. And I think intuitively we all know the sales process that works for us. And that really is the number one thing, not having clarity about your irresistible offer as your offer, you know, coming into this kind of launch period. And so as you're adding the technology, it can be very kind of tempting to say, oh, I want this webinar software, I want this little bells and whistle, you know, I want this little widget to do, you know, this pop-up or something like that to fix my sales process. And I think there really, you know, has to be a focus. And Patty can probably talk about it even more than I can, because she's better at sales than I am, you know, but, you know, focusing on really like the top of mind, you know, problem that, you know, and copywriters will say it over and over.
Gina, my other observation.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Patty.
Oh, I was getting a little weird with my, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. What I was going to say is sometimes that lack of focus, and Littie, I'm sure, has seen this too, is a smoke screen for an underlying block. And so we cover that, and I've seen this in myself and other people, with not having focus, always changing our mind, not being able to get clear on our message. And that's really not the issue, but a smoke screen for the real issue, which could be any one of many things.
Frequently, it's a cover-up for feeling undeserving. So, so Duncan, does any of that sound like it might be close to the truth?
Which piece was that?
The smoke screen for covering up.
The lack of focus is the smoke screen.
Yeah, I would say, you know, to me, like, certainly I acknowledge that's always a potential possibility for sure. I think in my case, I have always had one eye on the macro scene, on the bigger picture, and saying, okay, what, you know, we're dealing with all kinds of problems. What's the source? You know, what is the source of these problems? And sometimes the source is large and complex.
Right.
And in the case, in terms of our economic system, the way in which we're investing our money and so on, is the cause of, I would say, 80 to 90% of the health care problems that we're dealing with. So we do need to be dealing with the healthcare problems, but at the same time, we do need to be dealing with the source. And so it's big, it's complex, it's not easy.
Okay, but this is not getting you and your business out there. This is a side trip.
Yeah, but my commitment is to getting the business out there. Like we are going to be doing the Sonic, like we are going to, you know, be making that that
So
happen.
can you choose just for now and maybe just for the next month, one of your products to promote?
Yeah, yeah. It's
And how do you feel about that? On a scale
it's
of 1 to 10, with 10 being totally positive, how do you,
yeah.
where,
It's a 7, 8 kind of a thing.
okay,
And we've already got that identified. Actually, it's the sonic for stress and anxiety.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
And, and so you're going to focus on that one and you're going to get that one out there.
yeah.
Okay. And do you have a date on getting it out there?
Um, I would say September 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a little bit more than a month, but
yeah,
you can have that long.
yeah, 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 yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So Gina, do you have anything that you want to put input?
Well, I want to acknowledge Duncan for, really lining up somebody to help
Yes.
with the tech work, because I mean, that is one of the objectives of this course, to make sure that you have the words to communicate, what you need out of your tech team, so that it can be profitable, so that you can step into your power. I almost kind of got goosebumps when Patty said, she needed to step into her power. And I think that's
Yes.
true of all of us, whether they're watching the replay, whether you're here today. I think we all are more powerful than we believe.
I agree.
And that we're currently playing out in our lives, and so, it is an ongoing process. It's not just kind of thing, one day I'm going to step into my power and I'm going to be just all powerful. I think
Yeah, really. I'm there.
something that we all, are working on, and like for Duncan, when I spoke, first talked to you, like you have, this may be the first of many launches.
Yes.
This is just a process that will repeat and you'll refine it, and we'll get, even more, and I think on an economic level as well, as we elevate ourselves, we will bring out our gifts into the world. So that's what I believe. And, so whatever blocks that, we're here to block it. So Littie, you actually have, I'm going to share the link. We did our homework for Littie during, and
Yes.
put up,
And I think both the thank you page and the welcome page are complete, but you might want to check and make sure that they actually saved, because I tried to save them and I'm not sure that especially the welcome page.
yeah.
So
and I'll screen share what I've got, so that you can at least see what we built.
So while Gina's doing her screen share, I would like to tell you a little bit about Mindset Made Easy and a course that will be starting in a couple of weeks. Has 5 modules. Money mindset, time mindset, health mindset, relationship mindset, and then an integration module at the very end. Looks good to me, Gina.
Good.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, okay. I know the one thing that I did not do. I'll get back there and finish that. But I think, keep going.
We built this in Get Response, Patty.
Yes.
That's what we've got for you as well.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Very, very happy. Looks great. I only have one thing to go back and fix, and other than that, it still looks good. And a bonus for anybody who signs up for the class, or actually anybody who doesn't sign up for the class too, is the Universal Law series, which the first video should be posted later on today. There's 3 to start with, and then as I figure out which ones to do next, I will be creating more. But universal laws are to teach you, okay, so everybody, I'm sure, has heard of the law of attraction. But how many people know about the law of resistance, which is just as strong and important a law as the law of attraction? And there's a law of abundance and a law of scarcity. And anyway, multiple of them. And so I'll be doing a series of videos about those.
How many laws are there, Littie?
Well,
Universal laws that you
um,
teach.
right now, I don't teach any of them, all of them, because I'm more about how they affect your mindset and how um, to understand how they work. But there's 50 that I have a list of, and I'm sure that that's not all of them. And I'm learning too, because, well, you get, as Duncan knows, you get started in one spot and, oh, there's this, and oh, there's that, and oh, there's the other thing, and oh, this helps work with this, and this works. And so I keep expanding my knowledge, because for me, learning brings great joy, and being able to help
Hmm.
and share with anybody also brings great joy. And as you help people understand that the law of scarcity is what's keeping them where they are, not the law of abundance. And what you focus on expands. Once you understand that, then you can start changing your mind.
I like that. I like the way you said that.
Yeah. Do you want a 2-year-old to run your life, or at most a 10-year-old? Or would you rather really like to look back on things from the perspective of what you have now and change those things that really aren't working for you?
Yeah.
And I'd like to share my testimonial, because I started working with Littie at the end of April, I would say, after Alina's live event.
Was it
Um,
April? Was it May?
I think it was the end of April we kind of
Okay.
started talking. But I was having at the time, I didn't realize it, but, I'm very kind of baby with the law of attraction stuff. I mean, I've seen The Secret, I've done tapping and stuff, but, I really didn't know kind of to what extent my energy was going out and attracting back, the same level. And so what I had, unfortunately, is that, I had to cancel a client in February. And that made me sick. I was having vertigo. I was just like, it kind of put me almost in a tailspin, mentally. And then I ended up attracting, I would say, like 4 more difficult clients, kind of similar to that client. And I'm like, where are these people coming from? Like, I don't understand. Like, normally I have a mix, and normally my clients are
Right.
enjoyable. And Patty, I mean, like we work together, just fine. So
I know. Yeah, you've been awesome.
yeah, so
I
I
just
mean,
haven't had focus, but
right,
that's not
right,
your fault.
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, you're responsive. You're right on top of things. But we all too. It is interesting. I always often tell my clients, look out in the world and see what you're attracting, because it's a reflection of what's inside somewhere. There's a message in it. If it's a consistent, like, we all have difficult clients once in a while, but if you're like, you were getting this like
Yeah, I was just like, what
huge
is this?
influx of them. So
Yeah, and
what
she
is this
really,
message here?
yeah, she helped me decode it, and so I'm a lot less stressed. I have fun. I'm kind of able to kind of just decode sometimes, the situation. And a lot of times I'm just putting something forward based on a bad experience, and it's not actually what the client is saying. They might have something else. And so yeah, she's really helped me kind of the relationship part. But also I was having, this is kind of just a miracle, this literally happened like a week ago. I had an ocular migraine, which I very rarely, Duncan, you probably, maybe I need to listen
Oh,
to
wow.
things, but I started getting them in June. I'm like, what is this? And they didn't come with pain, they just came with like spots and sparkles. And I was having one, and I was just having a freak out, and I called Littie, and luckily she was available, and she literally talked me out of it. Like, we just got me
That's
out of that.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
I've never had that happen before, but man, was I grateful. So
I'm really glad I could help you.
yeah. Anything else you'd like to add to this Littie?
I'm also available for one-on-one coaching if anybody wants to get in touch with me. Littie at mindsetmadeeasy.com.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to share how much this course is?
Oh, so the course for the people that are in Gina's Effortless launch program, $197. It is the beta course or the pilot course. So you'll be getting more one-on-one attention. It will be directly one for you. There'll be a module, a questionnaire will be sent out, and then a brief module, and then the Q&A will be mostly Zoom work one-on-one with whoever needs has something that they want to work with. So it'll be like getting the 15-minute laser coaching for $197 for 5 weeks instead of my regular price, which is slightly higher than that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you
Awesome.
are interested, or if you know anybody, I will. I think, did I include the link in the chat? I'm not sure. I will post it in the Facebook group. Let me stop sharing for a second. Yeah, I'll post it right here in the chat, so you can see that, and then I'll also post it in the Facebook group. And we'll send out an update if you're interested, or if you have anybody who needs it. So, any questions about that?
That's
No.
good. That's good. I have to exit now. I had scheduled an hour here, so I
Okay. Yep. And we're just about done. So thank you for joining.
Thank you,
me.
Duncan, for your participation.
And thank you,
Patty,
Littie.
as well. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
the
Thank you, Littie.
And thank you, Gina,
Good to
for
get to
putting it
know
all together.
you guys.
Yep. And I have to go too to
Good
my
job.
next meeting. So yeah, we appreciate you being here, and good luck. We're around if you need anything. All right. Bye.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Gina. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.